It's January 11th, 2011, and I am to speak at Toastmasters of Safford, Arizona. And so here I go from my car and into the meeting.
Welcome, Richard.
Thank you, madam. And when the Holy Being refused to give his name, it infuriated me. It infuriated me because here he was, a miracle to rescue me as I drive a semi. And he gave me many miracles at twilight on that evening. But when he refuses his name, it's as if I'm not worthy to receive his name. Yet, he does his very first miracle as he levitates the semi above the road. And it's a slow up and up off the road, and I can no longer feel the vibrations of the 18 wheels on the road. And I look at my left mirror, and I see small trucks and cars passing me by, jamming on their brakes. And there's a lady with a cell phone up to her ear, and she jams on her brakes so hard that she actually stops her car on her side of the interstate, risking getting rear-ended. But she doesn't care because she can't wait to tell her friends and relatives about the levitating semi above the grassy knoll between the two interstates. And I think to myself, I'm being blessed. But then again, I think to myself, am I being blessed? Or is it a dream? Is it a delusion? Have I gone insane? Am I dead? And then the Holy Being to the right of me, he's beaming pure white, pure silver, and pure gold rays. He says to me non-verbally, "You are far from dead." But then I think to myself, if I'm far from dead, then I must be dreaming. So I pinch my left arm 3 times and hard. But I don't wake up. So it's not a dream. And then I look at the dashboard of the semi, and the tachometer and the speedometer has pure white, pure silver, and pure gold beads going clockwise and counterclockwise. And the beads are also going through one another as if they're the same, but they're not the same. They're all 3 different colors. So I also notice the speedometer is on 0, but that can't be right because trees and bushes are passing past my window, and he still has me levitated. So I go, I must check this out. I must see if the speedometer is actually stuck to the glass or something. So I take my knuckle, and right where the beads are, I thump it, and a blessing goes from my knuckle to my elbow. And I thump it a second time, right where the beads are, and a blessing goes from my knuckle to my elbow and to my shoulder. And indeed, the speedometer moves, so it's free. So that means the wheels aren't turning because, indeed, I'm levitated. So out of curiosity, I thump it a 3rd time, and a blessing goes from my knuckle to my elbow to my shoulder and into my heart. And then I realize that the Holy Being is not only changing the semi into something it never was, but he's also changing me into someone I was never before. And so then I look at my left arm, my elbow, where I pinched it a while ago, and indeed there's a welt there. And as I'm looking at the welt, the Holy Being says to me non-verbally, "How many times are you going to perform a test on yourself before you believe?" And I go, "Oh, that correlates so much that the kingdom of heaven has been tested so many times." And then I thought to myself, wasn't it Jesus that must have thought to himself, how many times do I have to perform a miracle before these people believe? And And here's this holy being to the right of me accusing me of the same thing, being such a doubting Thomas. But at the time, I didn't realize I was being a doubting Thomas. I just thought I was being human. Years later, with the help of clergy from 2 different states, we concluded that the holy being couldn't give me his name, because about 2,000 years ago, he was commanded not to speak of himself. In that Jesus, last time seen on earth, in so many words, Jesus said, I must go to be with my Father now in heaven. But in my absence, I will send you a comforter. But he shall not speak of himself. And in this, you will know him as the Holy Spirit. End of testimony.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.